Oh, hello again. Or maybe you're here for the first time. Either way, welcome to the Deep South Experiment. I'm Simon, and you may be sat there thinking to yourself that your love handles are particularly special because they just don't seem to want to go away. Not the case of everybody else, of course. Well, in this video, I'm going to break down some very simple steps to help you get rid of your love handles and get rid of them for good. Pardon the interruption, just a quick note is that if you prefer content that's a little bit more shorter, concise, more well structured, fewer rambles, fewer tangents, fewer analogies, then there's a link in the description below to another video of mine talking about this subject, but in that manner. You're likely to get less context, but it's more straightforward and to the point, just to let you know. And also one very important thing so that you don't set yourself up for false expectations. So you're here, you've clicked on the video, the chances are that whatever nutritional plan that you've been following as of late clearly hasn't worked for you. So here you are looking for a solution. And this, believe it or not, is a good position to be in because now after this video, hopefully you'll be informed as to what to do next, the next steps to take. Because without that knowledge, without those next steps thoroughly implanted in your mind or your mind, then all the willpower, all the determination, the sacrifice that you might have to make to adjust anything in your lifestyle, all of that willpower is an important one. That doesn't really mean anything at all if you don't have the right strategy. And the comforting part of it is that once you are armed with knowledge and knowledge that you feel comfortable with, then the whole process that you're about to put yourself through, or the whole process of getting rid of these love handles, some of the most stubborn body fat on the body, unfortunately, that all becomes quite effortless. And it could become quite enjoyable if you track your progress and you constantly get motivated by what you see when you check on it on whatever time frame you decide to check on it. And then that whole time frame then becomes quite enjoyable and effortless, like I said. It's all about the mindset and how you approach it, how you think about it. That's a really key part of this whole process. But it gets even better, because in this video I'm going to share some good news with you that you don't have to wait until the perceived end point to get rid of those love handles. Along the way, there's so much that you can do, and all of those things will really make a difference as you go, and that gradual improvement will be really evident. And so as you etch closer and closer to the finish line, I assume etch is the correct word there, I'm just going to go over it anyway. As you etch further and further towards that finish line, you won't feel like a finish line is in place. You'll feel as though the journey is just as one, as part of your lifestyle, as part of the results package that you're getting. When you get to that stage, that's when you really know that you're doing well. And those love handles just kind of disappear at some point as part of it all. You won't even realize they're gone. You won't even care about them anymore. Comment below if you think that's correct. And seeing as I've mentioned a comment, I might as well just switch gears for a moment and go into the obligatory stuff that helps the channel to grow and helps me to reach a wider audience. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, if you feel that this content is appropriate for you, giving me a thumbs up. If two things isn't too much, I know that it's a bit of an ask sometimes, especially when you're in the middle of a content that you're thoroughly enjoying. And then if you want to comment, then superb, promise I'll reply. But I'm Simon from the Deep South Experiment. It's an experiment because that's what we're doing here. We're trying things out, sharing information. None of us has ever got it right all the time. Some of us more so than others. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. And we're focusing here on body fat loss, muscle building, and the mindset around it all that glues everything together. And more information about me and the channel is in the description below if you want to check it out. Otherwise, keep going and listen to all the other stuff I've got to say. So first things first, perhaps the most important, the most fundamental thing, law of thermodynamics is thermodynamics. That's a better enunciate. And that is the calorie deficit, where we are consuming fewer calories than what we need. Therefore, we are creating an environment where we are ideally burning body fat. That's what we want, because that is what those love handles are made of. And this is a whole other topic, or it can be, and I could easily run away with this and still be talking to you in a couple of hours' time about it, but I won't, don't worry, chill out. Just a quick word on it is one of the big pitfalls is that people create those calorie deficits that are far too aggressive. It's just a conservative deficit that you want to encourage the body to burn body fat. The moment that it's too aggressive, it will restrict body fat loss and look for alternative fuels, such as muscle, for example. We don't want that. Conservative is the way to go. So part of the planning process is getting that deficit right, but then the other part of that process is actually executing it correctly. So you are not under or over reporting on what you're eating, but you're making sure that what you plan to eat, you do actually eat. And it can be hard sometimes because life gets in the way. Hormones start to go raging, temptation, irrational justification comes into play, and you think, oh no, it will be right to eat that. I won't actually count it. I'll just eat it and give myself a smack on the hand and move on. Tomorrow's another day. Try to avoid that kind of behavior. Again, this is the mindset around it all. If you do something to keep yourself motivated, that keeps you from entering those kind of scenarios. And when people think calorie deficit, for some reason they just think, oh no, I've got to start eating entirely different foods and life will never be the same again. And it can easily be like that. But if you just make a few tweaks and change a couple of foods, or go for better foods, if you go for, say, cereal rather than white bread, for example, you change a snack in the afternoon for a protein shake, just making subtle changes that you know are a little bit better than what you have been doing. Or if you are doing good in the first place because the foods are excellent and it's just the caloric amount that you're taking in, then that's simple, because you just got to change the amounts of the food that you're eating rather than changing the foods that you're eating. So we've just got to get that right about making those good choices. But if you're not going to drastically change what you do, then that's excellent, because sometimes having such a departure from what you're used to, that security blanket, in an approach that's already disruptive, then that can really set you off down the wrong direction. But if you are keeping things relatively the same, but you're conscious that you've made a couple of tweaks that are going to help you out, then that's far more manageable to keep to. And that's what I'd recommend you doing, is trying to keep everything consistent and then make tweaks and changes as you go. Unless you're the kind of person that can just put an overhaul into place if it's required and keep to that. If you're that kind of person, hats off to you. Fantastic. You must have tremendous mental strength. It is not every day that that kind of person comes along. But if you are that person, fantastic. If you're not, have those mechanisms in place to manage what you're trying to achieve. Because as I kind of alluded to at the very beginning, is when you don't make too much of a change and you see results and then you start to get motivated, you actually start enjoying the process. And then you think, well, if I've come this far, that was my original goal. How about I do another little bit of something instead, revise my goal, push myself a bit further, because it feels good. You've got that momentum, you've got that knowledge, that reassurance that you are capable of this. Little steps at a time, and then you'll be amazed at what you can achieve if you nail those as you go. So there you go. That's the nutritional stuff. I could leave it there and say, right, you're welcome. Catch you later. Let me know how it goes. But there's a few more things that I want to cover off, and this is more the visual aspect that you can improve on during your journey. Because of where your love handles are situated on the hip there, it allows you to be able to shape your body in order for it to look like you're progressing far sooner than what you actually are. Rather than just simply relying on body fat to dip, you can actually improve your muscularity and the shape of your body in order to help that process along the way. And not only does it look better straight away, you could probably tell, oh, hang on, there's a bit of something there, that's good, I'm progressing in that sense, but it also makes you feel good. And that internal feeling is so important, because you actually have that sense of accomplishment before you've accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. You feel better, tighter, more able, and it makes a big difference. Someone might give you a poke, like a partner give you a poke, and they go, oh, hang on, and you just think, oh yeah, that's right, I've been working on that, and yeah, it feels good. So all those little things as you go along. So those muscles are your lats, the muscles that go from, for arguments, or just keep things simple, is the top of your shoulders, well, bottom of your shoulders pretty much, and they run down each side of your body from top to bottom. And they go right in about the area of the love handles. They're situated so they really complement that, and they create somewhat of a tapered V look. And you can contribute to that development before the love handles just disappear as they're going to, or as they have done, or as they would do if you were, just here to inquire or have a bit of interest in this process. So the lats are one thing, and then the obliques and abs. So the obliques are on the side of your body, and the abs, abdominis rectus, or rectus abdominis, is on the front of your stomach. So by doing a bit of exercise with that, again, it makes you feel good, makes you feel tight, gives you that fit. You walk around and you sit up in your chair and you go, oh, felt that, must have done some good. That kind of feeling, it all sort of snowballs into results at the end of the day. And those really help as well, that tapering effect. And it's when those top abs start coming through. It'll never be your bottom ones that come through first. It's always the top down sort of thing for some reason. But the top abs, they start to come through, or they start to feel better, or they start to feel more developed. And again, it's just that feeling of, I'm getting somewhere here, and concentrating on those, working on them, and then getting those results before your love handles go. It's a good thing. It's a good feeling, and it helps that motivation, which, as I said before, is the driving force for further goals and further improvement and feeling good about yourself. And one point to always mention whenever you are working out, be it your abs or your lats, always use the full range of motion. So to work on your lats, your arms are outstretched above your head. And then it comes to the point where your elbows are right the way in against your love handles, pretty much, right up there against your hips. That's the full range of motion to get the most development and to get the most of that shaping opportunity, strength or hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is increase in size. Then that full range of motion is something you want to concentrate on, and that will give you that feeling and that motivation that you're doing well. And a disclaimer that is not spot reduction. A spot reduction is where you're targeting fat in a certain area. Can't do that, and you won't be able to develop these nice lats and then have fat everywhere else. It's just fat comes off where it wants to come off and in proportion to whatever it feels like, however you're designed, whatever your genes say. Is that normally it's your face, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your top abs, and then down you go. That's been my experience and experience of many others, probably be your experience too. But just to be aware and to set those expectations that we're not spot reducting. Yes, when we aren't doing spot reduction, there you go, that's well said. Well done me, I'll give myself a pat in the back later on. But we're not doing that. We are doing an approach whereby fat goes from where it wants to go as and when it wants to go. It sucks. It's a real pain in the backside, but that's what happens. So then when the body fat does disappear or goes to a suitable level that you can be happy with, and you've done all this work in the meantime on your lats and on your abs, they will just be more pronounced than if you hadn't done anything and were just concentrating on nutrition, diet to bring that body fat down. So it's another benefit at the end of the day. And again, that motivational tool most definitely contributes towards that. So it's all good. Just to summarize this, is that you've got your caloric deficit that you want to have, the knowledge that you have now got, or you can seek further advice if you want. Or, I would always recommend doing a ton of research. I would just really try to thoroughly get this to the point where in your head, doesn't matter about me or anybody else, but in your mind, you are good to go. You now confidently know that if you do X, Y, and Z, you're likely to get a positive outcome. When you feel that way, great. And whether that's now or in 10 days' time, who knows? But when you get to that point, to have that knowledge, that's where you need to be as well. And then doing the exercise, particularly those that I've mentioned, your lats and your abs and so forth. When you get to that point, then you'll know that it's not just a matter of sitting back and waiting while you eat the worst foods in the world and drive yourself crazy, but it is a fully connected process that you can start now and just carry on with. I think that's a great place to be in and a good mindset to adopt if you can get to that place. So like anything really, it's a matter of starting. Do all the research, etc., great, but it's making the decision and taking the action. Be confident that what you know and how you can execute it is fantastic, and just make that start. It's half the battle. And the other half the battle is keeping to it. Making sure that you've got mechanisms in place that you can track your progress if that's how you function, and you can get that motivation if that's what you require, and just away you go. Congratulations if you are in this place, and congratulations for future reference if you can get to that place. So I've been Simon, thanks very much for checking me out. Hope it's been useful to you, and we'll catch you later.